I am taking a huge risk making this video today, literally 2 days before earnings, because you really don't know what direction the stock might go. It could go up 10%, down 10%. I don't really know. But I also think this is a great time to look at Amazon from a technical lens because 90% of the people on Twitter or YouTube will be discussing the fundamentals because earnings is not a technical event. It is an actual fundamental event. Everybody's going through the data, watching the growth, and figuring out what's the next step for the stock. I think this is a good time to look at the technicals and see if we can predict where the stock goes next, figure out where the supply zones and the demand zones are, and also look at where might be a great place to enter. And in this case scenario, if you do follow my channel, you know I don't like to look for 20-30% gainers. I look for 50 to 100% winners, and I do think Amazon has or is topping out right around 240 zone. So the entry for me will be a lot lower. The first liquidity zone I'm watching on Amazon is this one, which is around 195. The second liquidity zone is 162, and the third one is 151. For me personally, I would love to see Amazon come down to 150 because during April 2025, when all the tariff news was coming out, S&P went into a 20% pullback. I was watching Amazon to take a pretty good size position under 151, but we never saw that. In fact, I went the other opposite direction and took Google because Google swept the previous low. Let me show you. My chart is a little messy on Google, so stay here with me. If you look at Google, we swept the previous key level here and then reversed. So this was an entry that made sense to me, and I knew because we took liquidity out, there's no way the stock comes back here again, and that is the true bottom. But for Amazon, I was not willing to take that because we did not sweep liquidity, and I created the thesis for myself thinking that most likely will continue higher, break highs a few times like we did over here, and then eventually will come down and sweep this level. Now, I do want to tell you that I don't want to be 100% bear that we go all the way down to 151. So I want to give you these two liquidity zones as well. But for myself, I do want to wait for 151 because if I do purchase Amazon, I'll have to purchase it with pretty good size. And if this is not a stock that I just want to take 50-60% from, I'm not going to touch this for 2, 3, maybe 5 years because this is the $400-$500 stock sitting at 230 right now. And if I buy this at or under 150 and hold it till $400, $500 or $600, even if it takes 3 to 5 years, this will be an amazing swing trade. Now, some of you might be perma bulls and you're looking at the fundamental growth and you're like, there's no way it comes down all the way there. Let me give you two things here. First things first, this is a supply zone above 235 to about 260 where the stock isn't breaking out of. No matter how great of earnings they printed, we're rejecting right around this area and we keep coming down lower. Where do we go next? I don't know. I'm just playing the probabilities here. I'm looking at the technicals and it shows me that there's no way we have what it takes to break above 240 with enough force to create higher highs. So for the minimum, we need to sweep 195. It gets better if we sweep 160 and 150. Now, another angle we can take is let's flip this chart upside down. So for people who do not want to believe that this can go lower, let's flip it upside down and see what has happened in the past. In 2020 to 2021 is when we were topping off. We were trying to break towards the upside, but notice that we just couldn't break above this level. And we are kind of doing the similar thing. We have created this channel-like formation on the downside. We are trying to break lower. In reality, it's actually higher because the chart is upside down, but we keep getting rejections in this zone. So what I do think is the technicals might play out the same way it did over here, where we break back down, continue lower, and in this case scenario, we go back to the liquidity zones that I was mentioning before, these three zones, and we sweep one or the other, and then we finally find enough buyers to reverse back up. How fast we reverse back up and how good the earnings and the fundamentals need to be, only time will tell. This is not a chart that will play out tomorrow. It will take many months to develop, and if we are in an AI bubble, we might be coming down with the entire stock market. We might see liquidation, margin calls, panics, and whatnot. Or it could just be coming down after earnings of this week. We don't know. So this is something that I'm just watching, and I wanted to sketch this all out for you as well, because if you do hold a lot of cash and you are a player that has more than 50 to 100,000, that type of money you can't just throw into any stock like Robinhood or PLTR or SoFi with a lot of size. But with Amazon or Microsoft or Google, you can take these massive companies and you can take trades into those, and you can confidently put 5 6 figures into it without panicking, because these companies will eventually do come back around. It's the same concept as, if you don't invest in America, what country would you invest in? And if America goes down, everything goes down, right? So same thing with the stock market. If these mega caps go down, most likely the entire stock market is down. So when you're looking to invest large amount of monies, you would rather do it in mega cap, and you would rather do it in a bear market and at a price where stocks might never see that zone again. You enter and the stock just takes off. And if you like to find stocks like these, either mega caps or any other stocks that can give you the potential of making 50 to 100+%, feel free to register for a private community I'm planning on building, and the registration link is in the comments. So let's see what the earnings say. Let's keep an eye on this chart and see what direction we end up taking. If I had to pick one mega cap stock that I really believe in and I really like, it is Amazon, and it even comes above Google and Microsoft for me. What they have done with their company and the infrastructure that they have built over the decades is just amazing. So if you like the content, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and I will catch you on the next one. Thank you so much for watching.